Tanya George, welcome to Australian Musician.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Tell me about some of the albums and artists that inspired you to play the kind of music that you play these days.
Oh, yeah, I've got a nice large range of musicians and artists that have influenced me, from jazz artists like Billie Holiday, Frank Sinatra, Etta James, all the way through to like vocal powerhouses, because I'm so into vocals. I used to really love like the old Christina Aguilera, which is so random. And then but I love Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters. So yeah, massive range.
You've done a bit of busking in your time. What is it that you like about busking? And tell me about some of the more interesting busking days you've had.
Yeah, busking I love busking. The reason why I do it is I sort of always try to go back to doing something raw and something really natural, and something that's hard, really challenging, It's been obviously really tricky through the pandemic as well. You're not allowed to busk, or you're not meant to, for people's safety at the moment, and for lockout laws and stuff like that. But I guess it's just a way of connecting and I think it helped me find myself a lot as an artist and as a musician. And you have the best days out there where it's heaps of people, the vibe's up, and then you have days out there where it starts raining and you've got to grab all your gear and run undercover and try and carry it all and stuff like that. So it's such a great learning experience all the time when you're busking.
You must come across some characters.
Always, yep. There's always characters. You just learn. You really learn quickly how to talk to everyone, and how to sort of handle all sorts of types of people, or even I've met lots of fans or followers that have followed me online for years before I even busked, just found me on YouTube or something and had traveled over from another country and said, oh my gosh, I used to follow you on YouTube and now I've met you. Like, this is so weird. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Well, what would you consider to be some of the career highlights for you so far?
Oh, I love festivals. So Queenscliff Music Festival was amazing. I had the best time at Queenscliff Music Festival. The Melbourne International Jazz Festival, I played at the Melbourne Museum. That was incredible. And I met the incredible, amazing, beautiful Don Was from Blue Note Records in America. And he introduced me to Herbie Hancock. So that was a pretty big, wow moment. I also loved St.Kilda Festival. It's my hometown. So that was a big, as a little girl, I always looked at St.Kilda Festival and went, I really want to play that. That's one of the festivals I want to try and play. So I've played that, and that was amazing. And selling out all my own headline shows, I've been very, very grateful that, all my headline shows thus far have sold out.
Yeah. You've got a new single. It's called Can't Do Anything Right. Tell me about the motivation behind that song.
The motivation came for that song when I was sitting in this room and I was replying to emails and I was getting back to everyone and I was writing and I was trying to, get everything together all the time. And all of my replies were like, no, can you redo this? That wasn't right. I want this. And it just made me feel so frustrated. And I literally was singing, I was just saying, I just can't get it right. I just can't do anything right. And then I just turned around and put my laptop down and started playing around my looper. And I was like, I'm going to write a song about this because I don't know what else to do right now. It also comes from a place of not feeling like I can do much with COVID around as well. It's been a really hard year for musicians. So it kind of came from, for everyone, I should say, came from a place of frustration, definitely. Yeah.
So in general, how do you build a track with your looper?
I usually come up with a feel first, or whether that's a groove or whether that's sort of a key of the song, so maybe I think, I want to write something I'm feeling D major or something like that, and I'll start fiddling around in that range, and then I'll build. So I'll do a beat then I'll build a bass line, and then I'll put harmonies on and stack harmonies like a chord, as if you were to play piano or guitar. And then I'll add little effecty things and maybe some percussion-y sounds and stuff like that. And then, yeah, I just build it from there. Just sort of create this weird track that makes sense to me. Yeah, and then I put all the top lines on top of that.
Yeah. I believe you're using the Boss RC 505 currently.
Yes, I am. It's behind me. All set up.
Had you used previous models before that one?
Yes, I have. I've used the RC1, and I've also used the Telecon Voice Live 3, which I use now as an effects pedal because they have stopped. I think they've stopped producing TC Helicon. I think it got bought out. So I use that as an effects pedal extended from my looper now, for like doubling and extra reverb, delays, harmony stuff. And then the RC505 is my main third arm.
Yeah. How did you find the learning curve with the 505? Did you find it fairly easy to navigate?
Yeah, it strangely came so naturally to me, which was something that made me think, oh, maybe this is a thing, or maybe I should play around with this more and more, because I just got behind the looper. I just sort of threw myself into it, and I could get it. I could do it, you know. And it's about sort of having the confidence half the time to do it, not hesitating. Yeah, and I just, you know all the buttons are. I've got it all set up the way that I like to play it or use it. And I've also been driven mad by it when I can't figure out something that's gone wrong. But I have my little tricks and tips that I sort of always go back to, like checking if it's on free time, if it's on a certain bar set, or length set for the loops. And yeah, it can't be, the RC505 can't be a slave. It has to be a master. So little things like that, when you're bringing other elements into it, like instruments, can drive you a bit crazy, but it's all right.
So are you able to store song ideas in it and come back to them later?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for example, this song Can't Do Anything Right, I sampled and put some drums down as well as beatboxing. So I sort of put that in here. I was like, cool, I like that. And then I built my bass line with percussion and then bass line. So you can hear the sound with my bass voice, which has like an octave effect on it. So it drops it down an octave or two. Put the percussion down, add the drums. This is like a synth sort of noise with my voice and like extra hums and harmonies. And there's some lead lines with the harmonies. And then you add it all together. So it sort of, yeah, creates a song. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You spent some time in the Australian Girls Choir. Do you think that you learned anything from those days that helps you with your arrangements today?
Yeah, it's weird because I never, like after I left the choir, I didn't think, I thought, oh, I wonder what that was about for me, like I've always wanted to be solo. But now, yeah, 100%. I think voice has always been the main reason why I love music, anything to do with the voice, any vocal work. And I think that element of looping with with your own voice, using all, different kind of effects, sounds and harmonies, is the same as like essentially a choir. And the next plan is to actually build a choir from this looping. So creating a show where I loop and I create the sounds, and then getting choir sections to then copy it, and then doing it live with just a whole choir. Yeah. That's the dream.
Yeah. You also play guitar. What's your main guitar? Does that have a story behind it?
I've got, just bought a new Maiden actually, which is exciting. But I did play a Cort for like years and years and years. And this Cort, I just couldn't let go of it. And everyone was like, you need a new guitar. And I was like, no, I'm just so used to it. And there was a stage there in my early 20s where, as everyone goes through that rough patch of not being able to quite afford new equipment and everything that needs to be updated. So that's why I got into the looping, because I thought, oh, well, I can do everything with my voice that I play. So I'll just do it with my voice, so I don't have to update anything till I make some extra cash to be able to do that. And yeah, I just stuck with the looping for ages. And then this year I bought a guitar, a new one.
Did you go to the Maitland factory, or you bought it from a shop?
I went to the acoustic centre. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, down in South Melbourne. Yeah, the acoustic centre, they helped me out. I played a bunch of guitars, and I decided to go with the Maitland 808.
Cool.
Performer. Yeah.
Yeah. So pre-pandemic, back in 2020, before it all happened, what were the plans?
Touring. I was like touring most weekends. I was playing a festival in 2019 to 2020. Yeah, just touring, just playing shows all around. I was at Gather Festival in Mount Beauty. I was playing in Mount Buller, Picnic in the Park. Then I played Queenscliff Music Festival in November 2019. It was just festival galore for me. Every weekend was a different suburb, different regional area, which was great. Yeah, and then the pandemic hit.
So how have you adjusted to life over the last 18 months? Has it been difficult to be creative?
It has, for me, up until the last sort of 6 months. I've sort of felt like it's now a bit, boring and stunted, but I had created an EP, Normality, at the end of 2019, which I was pushing and promoting as I was playing those festivals and stuff. That wasn't released yet. So I sort of threw myself into the release of my EP, Normality, which is great. And I won a little award, which is sitting over there behind me for it, which was very, very nice. After all the hard work throughout the lockdown, I sort of nutted down onto the online world, social media, Instagram, Facebook. And then I also gave myself a break, just to plot around in the garden or do things that I've sort of always wanted to do, but felt guilty because of my relationship with music. So yeah, sort of took the time out as well.
Yeah. So providing Melbourne stays the same as it is at the moment, what's the plan for the rest of 2021?
I have a show July 31st at Chapel of Chapel. And I have some other very interesting things happening from August onward, which I can't wait to talk about. I can't talk about it just yet until it's all solidified and all, in concrete. But I recommend checking out the television, and I recommend keeping an eye on my social media, and you'll see some pretty cool things for the next 6 months, which I'm pumped about.
Okay, so Can't Do Anything Right is the new single. Where should people go to have a listen?
You can find Can't Do Anything Right on Spotify, on iTunes. My website has all the links to it. It's also on Deezer, it's on Tidal, it's on everything, all streaming platforms, which is super exciting. And yeah, I'm about to put a sort of bedroom live video up tonight of a minute of me playing it here. If you want to check out my Instagram. So yeah, Reels, TikTok, it's on everything. I've created some challenges on TikTok as well. Some challenges of people like falling over or, trying to pour a drink and then they miss the glass, things like that. That's like everyday typical stuff. You're like, oh man, I just can't do this right. Yeah.
All right, Tanya George, it's been great to catch up, and all the best with the single.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and and enjoying the single. Thank you.